We're still creating low-paying part-time jobs. We still have a very low labor force participation rate. Nothing has changed, and the president looks like a hypocrite.
1 year ago, that's how Trump voter Peter Schiff of Euro Pacific Capital gauged President Trump's performance on jobs and the economy. Fast forward to today, and the data show weekly jobless claims hovering near historic lows. I think you'd have to go back to 1969 to see such healthy numbers. And the number of job openings far exceeds the number of Americans who are currently looking for work. So we thought, let's bring Peter Schiff back to see if he's changed his mind. But he doesn't get a free ride. We're going to face him off against another Trump voter, Republican strategist Kevin Paul Scott of Addo Worldwide. Okay, Peter, the unemployment rate is unbelievably low. You have great jobs numbers. Job creation is looking very healthy. Have you changed your opinion 1 year later?
Well, not at all. I mean, first of all the trends that you're pointing to, those are the exact same trends that existed under Barack Obama. And when Donald Trump was a candidate and when I voted for him, he was calling out Obama for claiming credit for what was phony numbers, that the real unemployment rate, according to Donald Trump, when he was a candidate, was 20%, 30%, 40%, because he was looking at all the people that were working part-time but that wanted to work full-time, but more importantly, all the people who weren't working but are not even counted as being unemployed because they've dropped out of the labor force. They're discouraged and they're not looking for jobs. And that trend hasn't changed. You know, Donald Trump inherited a big, fat, ugly bubble, to quote Trump, from Obama, and all he's done is blown more air into it.
Kevin, fight back if you feel it necessary.
Yeah, I don't know what numbers Peter's looking at. Let's look at this. 5.1% unemployment for people without a high school diploma. That is the lowest it's been since 1992. That's incredible. Some of the people that were the most left behind are now participating in the workforce. It's the lowest Hispanic unemployment. 2.8 million off of food stamps. The reality is more people are working, more people are supporting themselves, and therefore more people have money to spend. That's good for American workers, and it's good for the economy.
Well, look, you know, last year we had 2.3% GDP growth for 2017, very similar to the numbers we got under Obama. We got a 4.1 quarter.
4.1%. Yeah.
Well, that's one quarter, and we'll see if it holds up. I mean, Barack Obama had 4 quarters that were over 4. He had a quarter that was over 5, but none of that mattered because none of it held up for the entire year. I don't think that we're going to be over 3% in 2018, but more importantly, we are headed into a massive recession. Trump bought the economy some time with the tax cuts, but all it's doing is pushing off the day of reckoning. We had to borrow a lot of money to finance those tax cuts. Donald Trump helped make government bigger and more expensive by increasing welfare spending, increasing military spending. He reduced the revenues necessary to pay for that. That is bad for the economy.
To that end, Kevin, the federal deficit is pushing up against $1 trillion at a faster pace than it had been. It's going to hit it much earlier than had been expected. So we are looking at a gigantic deficit that is only getting bigger. And then you look at the debt of this country. 21 trillion and climbing. So at what point do you see, because I'm guessing you are a believer in the tax cuts and feel they will spur growth, will it turn around? Will it turn these numbers around?
Yeah. Well, there's two pieces of that, Liz. There are the tax cuts, which I believe are great, and they will spur growth. And there is the out-of-control spending. And on the spending, I'm not going to argue that we shouldn't be reining that in. The Republicans need to act like Republicans. But that doesn't change the fact that unemployment is down, people are working, and they're spending more of their money. You know, we're looking at lagging indicators. I'm looking in my business at leading indicators. We are seeing businesses invest in employee culture and leadership development because they're so worried that the economy is so good and they're going to struggle to retain that top talent. That tells me that most business owners believe this economy is in good shape, and I'm going to put my money where those business owners are.
I agree with you. There's a lot of business owners that are optimistic, but I think the optimism is false, and I think they're going to be very disappointed when the tax cuts don't work. And it's not only the budget deficits that are soaring, the trade deficits, despite what Donald Trump is saying, the trade deficit now is running at a 10-year high.
But isn't that a function, Peter, of people having more money in their pocket and they are buying more? more product, whether
Better,
it's foreign or made here.
They're buying more imported products, but where's the money come from? It's coming from debt. We're just going deeper into debt. We're creating money out of thin air.
It's coming from jobs. They're working. It's coming from they're having jobs, and so that's where they're spending their money.
Look, the jobs that we're getting now are the same type of low-paying part-time jobs that we had under Barack Obama. You talked about the people with high school dropouts. A lot of them aren't unemployed because they're living at home with their parents in the basement, and they're not looking for a job. And if you're not looking for a job, you don't get counted. But that doesn't mean you're employed.
Okay. One last word on wage growth, Kevin. Where is it? It's we're getting higher inflation numbers. We just got an inflation number today. What was it? That
was the PPI.
The PPI that came in up 0.3%, but it is running a little bit hotter. We know we have higher rates. At what point will we see wages match the higher inflation that we're seeing?
I hope soon. I agree. It's slower than we want it to be. But I think with the economy continuing to boom, it's going to force businesses to up that game. And so I'm hoping it's going to catch up in the next year.
The economy is not booming. Real wages are falling, and they're going to fall even faster because inflation is going to get higher when we go into the next recession.
Okay.
That's why it's going to be so bad.
My last question. Kevin, will you vote for President Trump again if he runs again in 2020?
If the economy keeps doing what it's doing, that's something I can vote for.
Okay, Peter?
I'll probably go back to voting Libertarian.
Peter Schiff never disappoints, right? Kevin, Paul, Scott, you either. Lovely to have you both. We'll bring you back. It's a great team and a great face-off here. Thanks, gentlemen.